آله وصحبه ومن اتبع هداه أما بعد. So, Alhamdulillah, back to our lessons in Madeenah Book 3 Arabic. We are currently looking at the exercises in Ad-Dars al-Khamis. And Ad-Dars al-Khamis so we were going through the exercises. And we were looking at how Ismul Fa'il and Ismul Maf'ul looks like if the fi'l is mu'tal. Let me check my audio. I was told the voice is low. Yes, the microphone setting is low. I think that will solve it, inshallah. One. Now, so we were looking at the exercises and seeing what al-fi'l al-muda'af looks like just open the chat for everyone. Ismul Fa'il, afwan. Ismul Fa'il, what it looks like, and Ismul Maf'ul, what it looks like when the fi'l is mu'tal. Can anyone tell me what the meaning of al-fi'l al-mu'tal is? What is al-fi'l al-mu'tal? Well, the opposite of fi'l al-mu'tal is al-fi'l al-sahih. Al-fi'l al-sahih. And in this context, the word sahih doesn't mean authentic. As we know, al-hadith al-sahih means authentic. But here, yes, as the sister says in the chat, it means that, well, sahih means sound. All the letters are sound letters. None of them are the weak letters or the vowel letters. And as has been mentioned in the chat, it is when you have a harfu illah or a weak letter, alif or waw or ya, in either نعم يا أخي بارك الله فيك وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. In either position, fa'ul kalima, ainul kalima, lamul kalima, wherever the position of the harful illa may be, that fi'l becomes known as al-fi'l al-mu'tal, a weak verb. If it's in the beginning, it's called al-mithal. If it's in the middle, it's called al-ajwaf. And if it's at the end, it's called Naam. What's it called if it's on the end? Al-fi'l al-naqis, barakallahu fiki. Fi'l al-naqis. And if the verb happens to be a verb that is sahih, but two of the letters are the same, like hajja, dhanna, marra, dalla, for example, this is known as al-fi'l al-muda'af. Al-fi'l al-muda'af. And the purpose here is to look at ism al-fa'il and ism al-maf'ul in each of these examples. Okay? And now I believe we reached al-tamrin al-khamis. It says over here, so what we have to also note is that if the fi'l is ajwaf, if the fi'l is ajwaf. The middle letter is a weak letter, then we have one of two options. Either the middle letter is originally a waw, or it's originally a ya. There's no third option. I'll give you an example. The fi'l which says, let's go to whiteboard. Qala. This is ajwaf because the middle letter because can you guys see the whiteboard? Right. Alhamdulillah. Do you know why it's not showing me my writing? It's not showing me the writing tools. So qala, this is ajwaf because the middle letter is alif. However, the origin of that letter alif is not alif. It can only either be waw or ya. So when you look at the mudari' of the word, you'll notice that it's not qala yuqalu, qala yaqalu. It's qala yaqulu. And the reason why is because the origin of this alif at the beginning is actually a waw. This is one of the ways of knowing the origin of the middle letter from the fi'l mudari'. And sometimes you'll see the asl of the origin of the letter in the masdar. In this case, it's also waw, qawlun. Qawlun. So this fi'l is known as al-mudha'af al-wawi. Al-wawi, al-fi'l al-ajwaf, afwan, not mudha'af, al-ajwaf al-wawi, meaning the ajwaf that has a waw in the middle. And then you have, for example, and then you have another example of al-ajwaf al-ya'i. So for example, ba'a, he sold. What's the mudari' of ba'a? Ba'a yabi'u. So the alif, which was in the fi'l mudari', it turned into a ya in the fi'l mudari', in the fi'l madi. The alif in the fi'l madi turned into a ya in the fi'l mudari'. Yabi'u. And also the masdar bay'un is another clue that the original of that letter is a ya. So this is known as al-ajwaf al-ya'i. Al-ajwaf al-ya'i, meaning a weak verb, the weak letter is in the middle, and the origin of the weak letter is a ya. Okay. Can anyone give me any other examples of al-ajwaf al-wawi? Al-ajwaf al-wawi.
Zara.
Ahsanta akhi. Zara. And how do you know that this letter that this is a originally is a waw. Anyone? How do we know the origin is waw? From Zara. No, because when you look at the fi'l mudari', it becomes yazuru, Zara, yazuru. So the waw appears. So it becomes quite clear that the origin of that one is a waw. And another example, as the sister mentioned, taba. Taba. لقد تاب الله على المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت شجرة. So what is the fi'l mudari' of taba?
يتوب.
Ahsantum, barakallahu feek. Yatubu. So here again, the alif which was in taba, the origin of the alif becomes clear when you look at the fi'l mudari', and it shows that it is the origin is yatubu. Okay, and then an example of another example of al-fi'l al-ajwaf al-ya'i. Anyone? الفعل الأجوف اليائي. Sara yasiru. Yes, that is one. Sara yasiru, which basically means to travel with a scene. Sara yasiru. Okay, let's go back to the actual exercise. Now look at the example that they gave. The example they gave shows قال يقول the فعل the اسم الفاعل is قائل and the origin of قائل is قاول. The origin of قائل is قاول because اسم فاعل is فاعل, as we know. So in the same way, they want you to make اسم فاعل from زار يزور, صام يصوم, and nama yanamu. Interestingly, nama yanamu, the origin of this alif is a waw, and we didn't find the waw in fi'l mudari', but we found it in the masdar, which is nawmun. So who can give me ism fa'il of zara yazuru?
Zairu
Yeah,
and Zaviru.
again, Fakhi?
Zairu and
No,
Za.
hold on. Why? Abdul Karim, you keep changing. You said Zairun, then you said Zairu. So which one do you want?
It'll be Zairu.
Why?
Because it's a name, Mamnu Minasarf.
I don't know why it's going to be mamnu' min as-sarf.
It's
Mamnu' min as-sarf. There's no reason for it to be no mamnu' min as-sarf. And it's not in the lists of mamnu' min as-sarf. In actual fact, mamnu' min as-sarf has a rule. There are two things which are wrong with a word, or two reasons. So, in any case, so this is not mamnu' min as-sarf. So definitely it's za'irun, as you said. Ahsant, barakallahu feek. And what's the origin of that word?
Zavirun.
Ahsant, za'wirun, barakallahu feek. And also well done to the sisters that answered correctly. And how about the next one? Sama yasumu. Who's got the answer for that, please? Thaqib, are you with us? Can you answer that? Or Muhammad Ayman, which of you, or Abu Maymun? The answer to Sama yasumu. What is the ismul fa'il? Fadal.
قائم
Barakallahu feek. Sa'imun. And the origin? Asluhu sawimun. Sawimun. It's easier to say sa'imun. That's why the waw was converted into a hamza. And the last one, nama yanamu. Yes, as the Prophet ﷺ said, Bainama ana na'imun. Bainama ana na'imun. While I was sleeping. Yeah.
Naimun and Naviyun.
Na
Navimun.
mun. Ahsant. Nawi mun.
Navimun.
Yeah, ahsant. Barakallahu feek. Na'imun. Originally, it's nawimun. طيب. Let's look at al-ajwaf al-ya'i. Okay? And here's the example that they gave. They gave the example of one. That's not correct. I want that to happen. I want this to happen. Is that on the example? Ba'a yabi'u? Is the box on the example? So,
No, Ustad.
no?
Yes, Ustad.
It is, alhamdulillah. So the ism al-fa'il is ba'i'un. Ba'i'un. And asluhu bayi'un. So mala yamilu, which means to lean towards something. Mala yamilu. Mailun. What is the ism fa'il?
مائل
Ahsant. Barakallahu feekum. Naam, ahsanti, that's the correct answer. And asluhu
مايع
مايل. Barakallahu feek. Sara yasiru.
Sa'irun and Asluhu Sa'irun.
Yirun.
Sa'irun, yeah.
Sayirun. Barakallahu feek. And the last one, or the last two, Asha ya'ishu. اسم الفاعل
Aishun.
نعم عائش. What does it mean? عائش. عاش يعيش means to live. He lives. عاش يعيش. He is living. So عائش means اسم الفاعل, somebody who Somebody who's living. Somebody who's living. نعم. أين تعيش? Question. أين تعيش? Where do you live? You can say أنا عائش في المملكة العربية السعودية مثلا. For example. أنا أعيش في الرياض. أنا أعيش في ماليزيا. Living in. Can you recognize that word, that name? Does it remind you of anything? Ishun, does it remind you of anything?
Does the name Aisha also come from this?
Ahmed, barakallah fiqh. That is the same word which Aisha, al-Mu'mineen, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, Siddiqa bint Siddiq, her name is from this same origin. And it's the feminine version, Aisha too. And because it is a feminine word, and because it's someone's name, that's why it is mamnu' min as-sarf. Because every mamnu' min as-sarf, there has to be two reasons. The question that sister's asking, Salatul Isha. Isha. No, I think Isha is that's a different word. That's a different word. It's not from Asha, Ya'ishu. Allah knows best. I think it will be from Asha, Ain, Sheen, and then Alif, which means late at night or something like this. So, Ishun, you have to be careful not to pronounce the Ain twice. So you don't say Ishun, or to pronounce Hamza twice. You don't say Ishun. It's Ain at the beginning and Hamza in the middle. Ishun. And the origin is Yishun. And the last one is Sala Yasilu. Sala Yasilu, which basically means, what's the meaning of, can someone give me the meaning of Sala Yasilu?
To ask.
Afwan akhi?
To ask.
La, that would be Sa'ala Yas'alu. Sa'ala Yas'alu. This is, so that one is Mahmuz. Mahmuz al-Ain. The middle letter has a Hamza. Whereas in this one, the middle letter doesn't have a Hamza, it's a weak letter. It's a harf illa. So, and the origin of the letter is Ya. Jazakallah khair, good try. So what do you think Sala Yasilu means? Well, yes, to flow. Barakallahu feek. Sala daman, his blood flowed. Sala al-ma, water flowed. And yes. So, what is the word? Ism al-fa'il.
Sa'ilun and Sa'ilun.
So it is Sa'ilun. Sa'ilun. Right? Now, there is a hadith which mentions إِذَا سَالَ الْوَادِي, when the valley flowed with water. The Prophet ﷺ said, take us to this place so we can purify ourselves with this pure water. And there's a discussion over the authenticity of the hadith, but the wording of the hadith is what I wanted. Sal al-wadi. The wadi flowed with water. Interestingly, ismul fa'il here is the same ismul fa'il of questioner, somebody who questions. Sa'ala, as in the Quran, ayah in the Quran, sa'ala sa'ilun bi'adhab al-waqi'. Surah Al-Ma'arij. Is بعذاب سأل سائل بعذاب واقع. A questioner asked about a punishment that is going to take place, going to happen. Sa'ilun, someone who asked the question. Whereas this one, it means something which is liquid. Liquid. Sa'ilun, liquid. Okay. The next exercise is al-fi'l al-naqis. Al-fi'l al-naqis. Now, al-fi'l al-naqis has the same situation. Either the last letter originally is waw, or the last letter originally is ya. So it's a naqis al-wawi or a naqis al-ya'i. Can you see the two examples on the screen? A naqis al-wawi, like da'a, yad'u. So the waw is the last letter as well, that's the asl. Or al-naqis al-ya'i, saqa yasqi, when you give someone something to drink. Saqa yasqi. Examples: naja yanju, afa ya'fu, to pardon someone. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Fa'fu comes from this word ya'fu. Fa is the harf ta'qib. Then you have a hamzat al-wasl. Then you have ayn, because you drop the harf al-mudari'. Drop the harf al-mudari'. And because it's majzoom, you will take the waw away. So you will have, that's the fa'fu, where it comes from. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Anni, afwan. And then tala yatlu, to recite. Notice now that the fi'l, ismul fa'il for naqis, you will need to have a ya at the end, even in the case of the wawi. Da'a yad'u, da'i. So what happens in the case of da'i? What happens with da'i? You have to go back to the beginning of the book, to the introduction, and it tells us those words that finish with this. What's it called? Barakallahu feek. The sisters have all the answers today. Well, mashallah, as usual, Allahumma barik. Al-ism al-manqus. Al-manqus. Ism al-manqus is that word that finishes with a ya. And because it finishes with a ya, you don't pronounce it in certain situations when it's marfu' and also when it is majroor. You don't say da'iyun, you say da'in. Okay? And so, unless you have alif or lam, in that case, then the ya will, then it will reappear. And you will say ad-da'i. And the origin is da'iwun. Okay. Naja yanju, which means to escape or to be saved. To save, to be saved. Or to reach safety. Different to, don't get mistaken with najaha, yanjahu. I'll type it in the text because this screen is, for some reason it's not aligned. So if I was to write it, it wouldn't come up correct. Don't get confused with najaha, yanjahu. It means to pass. To pass. To succeed. As for this one, is naja, yanju. Yeah? I think it's the saying of, who was it? Was it Shu'aib that said to Musa alayhi salam, Najawta min al-qawm al-zalimin. You have been saved from an oppressive people. Najawta min al-qawm al-zalimin. طيب. So what is the ism al-fa'il here? Naja yanju.
Najin.
Barakallahu feek. Asluhu
Asluhu. Najiun.
najiwun.
Najiun.
Barakallahu feek. Then you have afa ya'fu.
عافٍ
اسم الفاعل نمير.
عافٍ
I can hear it
عافٍ
with a scene. This has a fa. Afa ya'fu. Do it again, Nomer.
عافٍ. I'm saying عافٍ.
Are you pronouncing fa, but it's sounding like a scene?
No, maybe I'm not. عافٍ. I'm saying fa. Yes.
Okay, Barakovic. Yeah, maybe because of the mic, it's coming out with a scene sound. Yes, afin. Afin. Asluhu
عافٍ.
afiyun. Afiwun. Afiwun. Okay. Tala yatlu. اسم الفاعل.
تال
Again, أخي.
تال
تال. أصله
له تالع تالب
تالب. Barakallahu fikum. Now let's go to الناقص اليائي. هدى يهدي. Well, they gave us examples. سكا يسكي. ساكن. أصله over here they're not asking us to give the asl. There's no asl. That is the asl. But they ask you to do it with alif or lam. Sakin as-saqi. Hada yahdi.
Hadin. Al-Hadi.
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 Barakallahu feek. Al-Hadi. Zana yazni. Wal-iyadu billah. Allah protect us all.
Zanin and Al-Zani.
Zanin and
Al-Zani.
الزاني. بارك فيك. بنى يبني.
Banin Al-Bani.
الباني. أحسنت بارك الله فيك. نسي ينسى.
Nasin and un, unnasi.
Now, I missed one, I think. Baka yabki.
Bakin al-baki.
Al-baki. Barakallahu feek.
Ustad, Albani is actually the name of the place, right? Because of which people are called by that or from that area.
So that's something else. When you have the country called Albania, which is known as Albania, yeah. If you are from Pakistan, you say Al-Pakistani. If you're from England, Al-Britani. If you're from Nigeria, Al-Nigeri. If you're from Albania, Al-Albani. You get it?
No.
No, Akhi, do you get that?
No, Ustad.
So this one is nothing to do with Albania. Although, mashallah, lots of the brothers from Albania, they also are into building. So maybe there's something there. But there is no link. Alhamdulillah. Which one did you ask for, sister, to repeat? Bana. Bana yabani. Banin. Banin. And Albani. طيب. Exercise 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, subhanAllah, 17. These are amazing exercises, 18, 19, 20. If a person spent their time on these exercises, their Arabic would really improve, their understanding would really improve. So I implore you all, do the exercises, invest your time in learning Arabic by practicing the exercises. And yes, send them in. Inshallah, right now the brothers Jazakumullah Khair from Markaz Athari, who are organizing this whole class and have been patiently and persistently and consistently, mashallah tabarakallah, hosting these classes for the last, Allah knows best how many years. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in their good deeds and their good scales Yawm al-Qiyamah, and may we all be a part of their good deeds. They are currently, as they have been, always trying to enhance and improve how these lessons are presented and how the mechanisms of giving you the opportunity to answer questions, answer the exercises. So right now they are, inshallah, trying to figure out a system of getting the exercises automated for you to be able to do them. And they do need some volunteers. So if we can have one of the admins send the email, send the email. So if you are interested to help, you have some time and you can. So one of the ways, for example, would be to make these questions possibly in Google Forms or like in an online quiz form with a drop-down menu. So people can go online and they can download the exercises, they can do the exercises and submit them, and then they will get their results, their marks immediately. This is one idea. It might not work for every question, but they are, Jazakumullah Khair, at Markaz Athari, they're trying to build a team of people that can dedicate some time in a week, even if it's 1 hour in a week, and they will give you the tasks that you need to do. So if you have that, inshallah, time, then please do get in touch with them, inshallah. I think you'll find their contact on their website, Markaz Bangalore. But if Abdul Kareem or Muzammil or someone can put it here, that'd be great. There was a question that was asked. We'll stop over here, inshallah, and I'll ask you all to continue with these exercises yourself, because I would love to do these exercises with you all. But it's not practical, given that our class is only once a week. There has to be some handover. The handover has to be giving you the exercises to do. And then if you have a problem, then you should come in the following lesson, say, I tried this exercise, I had this problem. And then we can discuss the areas, the problematic areas. Okay? So please do that, inshallah. So next week we'll start Dars al-Sadis. Now, last week or 2 weeks ago, this same question was asked and I forgot to answer it. And I only remembered after the lesson was closed. And again, the question is, the sister is asking a relevant question. She said, what is your advice for learning how to speak Arabic for one who understands the language to an extent, but speaks poorly? Also, please, could you advise on how to understand Arabic and its vast vocabulary, as there are times I listen to lectures or conversation, understand almost perfectly, and times where I do not understand anything. Okay, so there's two things happening here. One thing is improving your speaking. One thing is improving your listening. All I could say, and Allah knows best, is what I, from my experience with the language and with languages, is the only way to improve speaking is by speaking. And it sounds odd, but you could learn all the words you like. At the moment you start, and all the sentence structures, the moment you start trying to speak, if you haven't spoken before, you will definitely speak very, very slowly, trying to recall the words, trying to articulate the words. And only after you have spoken, that's, for example, a particular sentence. You can say, for example, imagine you said, Ana adhabu ila al-jami'ati kulla yawmin, for example. I go to the university every day. If you said that 10 times, and you timed yourself each time, without a doubt, the 10th time is going to be quicker than the first time. And you might also find you made some mistakes the first time. After the 10th time, you made less mistakes or no mistakes. Me personally, I used to learn in the classroom in the morning when we were in Al-Jamia Islamiyah in the 90s. And anything we would learn, any new words or new sentences, after Asr, they used to take us by bus to Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, to the Prophet's Masjid. And I used to talk to the Arab brothers on the bus. And I used to talk to the bus driver. If I went into a taxi and they were generally Arab locals, I would talk to them in Arabic, even though I couldn't speak Arabic. So with my limited language, I was happy to try it out and happy to make mistakes. And very often I found people being generous and correcting me. And that is how my spoken language quickly improved. Within a few months, I found myself having full conversations. Okay, definitely with limitations. And that can only improve the more you do it. And that's true for any language, because the tongue is a muscle. It has to, and any muscle, in order for it to work in the best way or optimally, has to be used. Then the other question regarding understanding, this is a case of, the vocabulary that you know, and focusing and concentrating. And if you're listening to a lecture, the more you listen, the percentage will increase. There are varied vocabularies for the same thing. So you could start writing words down. The words that you don't know, you write them down. Then you start searching for words. The same word, find it in the Quran, find it in Hadiths, and find it in the works of the scholars. Nowadays, you can search these things online and see that same word in different contexts. Slowly, slowly, you will find your language improves. me, myself, up till today, I'm still learning new words. Only today or yesterday, I was reading something and I found a particular word, and I said to myself, well, that's interesting. I never knew that word before. I'll make a note of it and I'll try to use it. I don't actually recall the word right now, but it only happened today or yesterday. So I'm still developing my language. So there's nothing to worry about, my sister. And alhamdulillah, you're on the path of seeking knowledge, and be sincere and be consistent, and may Allah Ta'ala grant you ease. And inshallah, you will achieve your goal. The sister is asking, Nasiya has a kasra in Ain al-Kalima. Is that a typo? I'm not sure, where are you looking at? In the chart or somewhere else? Exercise 8, okay. No, that's not a typo, because the word fi'l madi is not nasa, it's nasiya. Nasiya, that is the fi'l madi. And then the fi'l mudari is yansa. Okay? Nasiya yansa. Like, yeah. I'm not sure if I can give another example for it, but yeah, that's the pattern. I will stop there, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullahu khairan, wallahu a'lam, wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.